So Manungurra is a name chosen by our late deceased father, Mr. Archie Allen Jungler, and he was one of the most senior Gunapa elders. Of course, they were responsible for the Gunapa songs, and that's the men's ceremony, so it's around initiation, and we are the main ones to continue that on to this day, because Dad had carried it on with his brothers for over 65 years, because he had to take it on at a quite younger age, and he passed at a good old age at 92. And that's very, very, because our young people in Tenerife are actually dying quite younger, and sadly we are the new elders, as in terms of my brothers and sisters who are responsible for this are actually 50 years old and under. So it's 50 and mid-40s now that are pretty much are the new age elders, and we feel that we have to carry on a lot of responsibility for our people, and not only for who's with us currently, but for our future generation, because the younger group that are going to be in front of us are actually, in our system, are bosses of us. So you can be an older person, but the child of, depending the kinship name, is a leader for you. And most of our leaders are pretty much like I have a little uncle, and I met him actually the other day. He doesn't realise this, and he lives up here, but he is my next boss once my uncles go. So he's about 1 year old. Sorry, Sab, it's gone to sleep now. We're borrowing someone's laptop. You all right?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm glad we have good much time. Thank you. So, okay, the Gunapa clan is comprised of two branches. It's because two senior family lines. So the Gunapa East, which is on the Banka station, so it's on the east side of the Stewart Highway, and Gunapa West group, which is, of course, the west side of Banka, the Stewart Highway again. So both groups unite under Manungurra, which is a name that is one of the sacred sites near Butu Mine, which is OM Manganese is operating that currently, and the family groups that are in that is the Gunapa East, where so Jungla, Nangala, Numbin, and Jumbin, our female brother, our male brother, and for the Gunapa West, it's Jupurula, Nukurula, and Jakamara, Nakamara. So we're responsible for 4 groups, and then also under 2 systems. So just to give you an idea that we have to actually carry 4 systems as well as the Western world's system as well. So 5 we're responsible for, and so we say we walk in 3 worlds. So the Gunapa land estate is situated north of Tennant Creek and overlaps, of course, 2 of the jurisdictions, Northern Land Council and the Central Land Council. So where I currently live, if I walk across the highway, which is probably about 5 kilometres from my house, and I'm then on the CLC side, so I have to seek help from that side. But where we live, we seek assistance from the Northern Land Council, who's responsible for our areas there. So having 2 land councils is very confusing under the Land Rights Act, but then understanding native title, and which is of course quite new for our mob in the region, because we've pretty much been working under the Aboriginal Land Rights Act, and I'm not sure if you know the Warramunga land claim, and I can honestly say that it's actually currently still running, and we hope, cross our fingers, next year it become hopefully settling 40 years of the Warramunga land claim, and we're here to still do that. So the area includes Banka West Station, Brunchley Station and Rockhampton Down Station. as well as parts of the Warramunga Land Trust and Kunalpara Aboriginal Land Trust. Now, the vision of our directors and members of Manungurra is to create a livable and sustainable future for our lands, to build on the courage and strength of our fathers and mothers, and our grandparents and their ancestors. This vision is of living full lives in a modern context, drawing from the strength of the Kunapa ceremonial and hereditary links to land, culture and ceremony. Our directors wish to create a future for our children, to enjoy the best of modern Australia while retaining a unique identity and cultural standing as Kunapa people. To do this, we seek to use our land pretty much and its resources, as well as the current generation of Kunapa people. The drivers of the business development, job creation, income security for our group, we seek to play a really strong role and sustained role in the local economy and create jobs and income for that economy as well. So when I'm referring to, I think it's actually our 9 directors, they pretty much have been the driving force for the last 12 years, and it's been all voluntary based, like all Aboriginal groups that are on their corporations. We do it all voluntary, and it can be challenging, especially if you've got a family at home and you're away sometime doing things like this, that you have to do it, but it is very difficult to struggle. To juggle all of it. But we try and tell them, actually, it's for our future, and you will reap the rewards at the end. That's all we have to keep telling them. But as you can see, we have an army back in Tennant Creek. There's 200 members, but it's always only the few soldiers that have to come and do everything. So we're it. 3 soldiers doing it, and the army's keeping everything good at back Tennant Creek. So we have a range of strategies and projects that have been developed in the effort of building a foundation. Such a vision, while significant time, energy and resources have been put into governance and life skills to create a corporate environment where the vision of our group can be realised. My father once was quoted as saying to the mining company and us Kunapa families, "We got the land back Aboriginal way, but we now have to use it the white man's way to manage the land and making a living on the land." So just back to governance. Of course, Manungurra Aboriginal Corporation, we refer to as MAC, was incorporated on the 6th of October 2006 under the Corporation's Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Act 2006. As the key representative entity for our Kunapa clan group, Manungurra is the beneficiary of negotiated outcomes under the Land Rights Act and, of course, the Native Title Act. And I referred to it earlier, Buttu Creek Mining Agreement, which was registered on the 26th of July 2005. So building from this base, which for the first time provided really significant income for our people, and we've never seen money like that. And I can honestly say that our mob really don't grasp how much is in the dollars. And yeah, because you're pretty much receiving, income of CDP, which is, I think, was it 20,000 a year that people get, and trying to live on your homelands and buying diesel, you're paying more than what your income is. So, of course, like all Aboriginal people, we want to establish our homelands, so make better living areas and conditions for our group. So within the Kunapa estate, we want to create, of course, a sustainable economic base, which provides us jobs, income and opportunity to Kunapa people and other Aboriginal people in the region. So we made a huge investment decision, and like I said, we had to learn how the Bablungi way of utilising your money, your wangari. We and the old people, our blessed dad and everyone today, that we put away 50% from 2006 of our income from the Butu mine, which has seen Manungurra develop to a substantial investment portfolio in the last 7 years. From 2006 to 2012, Manungurra was under the administration, firstly the Northern Land Council, then the Central Land Council, utilising their Aboriginal Associations Management Centre fee for service. So other major stakeholders of Manungurra are, of course, the Northern Land Council and the Central Land Council, OM Manganese Limited, because Aboriginal people, we are sometimes stuck between middle, but the mining companies do play a big role in advancing our opportunities, and I believe that we can work together harder in making it better for other groups that have never been able to, also done, not so much, we say, some people say you're lucky to have a mine on your land, but no, it's not, you're not lucky. That means you have to work harder, and you know your land is not going to be left the same after they leave. And we hope, working with OM, that they assist us in ensuring that we do have our areas where we can still visit, because they have huge, 8 big pit holes at the moment on the west side of our country, and land's never the same once it's dug. So Julalukari Council Aboriginal Corporation, and of course the Northern Territory Government, Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet, Commonwealth, Department of Education, Employment and Workplace Relations, Commonwealth, the Barkly Shire, Aboriginal Areas Protection Authority, the Indigenous Land Corporation, and Indigenous Business Australia. Anyone again? Okay. In the past years, the Central Land Council and the Northern Land Council have played major roles in advancing the interests of our people in terms of land rights claims, native title claims, exploration and mining negotiations, and basic administrative support and services. The Julalukari Council provided certain services, including the RJCP program and outstation support and service. Commonwealth Government has provided a range of services and assistance through the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet and its predecessor agencies. So the Northern Territory Government has provided certain local government services and other assistance, and the ILC, so the Indigenous Land Council, has assisted in a major land purchase, which is Banka Station, now called Banka West. So we hope we can then turn it into Aboriginal land, if any of the ministers are here. And then we can stop fighting for it, and like I said, we'll end the 40 years of the Warramugga struggle for land. So the Aboriginal Areas Protection has provided advice and taken action in relation to our protection of our sacred sites. A successful prosecution was made against OM Butu Creek Mine last year for sacred site damage, to which are prosecuted. There is ongoing concern and real frustration here, as well as we feel the matter has not been laid to rest with all stakeholders involved in the process. OM Manganese has established a Butu Creek mine by way of agreement with our people. So our linguists, academics, students, advisors, and a range of commercial interests such as pastorals and small miners or tour operators have all over the years interacted with our group and done business of some sort with the group. These stakeholders have in their own way taken responsibility for, advised and assisted, funded or engaged in commercial exchange with our people, meaning the Kunapa and Warramugga Tennant Creek region. We seek to replace these stakeholders' interaction with our people with the establishment of Manungurra the best we can, and have a very close working relation with each other, and create better partnerships that are always understanding how do you help Manungurra or the Kunapa group, not trying to come from the top down, but we would like you to work with us from the bottom up. because we understand our issues, we know them best, and sometimes we can keep them away from Bablangis too. That's what Umbrani people are like. So it wasn't until 2012 that Manungurra was able to employ a full-time CEO and move our accounts from the Central Land Council to Deloitte's in Alice Springs. But on November 2013, the directors created Manungurra Development Corporation Limited, so MDC Limited, which is MDC Limited is to act as the economic and investment arm of Manungurra. It is a company limited by guarantee which has its directors representatives of our Manungurra group. Manungurra Aboriginal Corporation is the sole member of MDC Limited. So Manungurra only recently purchased, I'm really excited to say this, is that we've purchased an office in Tennant Creek in 2014. So it was only back in April this year. And we look to conduct our office opening in the end of 2014. More work for the directors. And today we have on payroll a CEO, projects manager, which I've only been in this position for 2 weeks because I'm no longer a director. I can get paid this time, so no more love jobs. And we have an administrative assistant, and again, so Manungurra more or less is one employer owned, and sadly we will see, Bablangis will say it's nepotism. At the end of the day, we've got to run it as a family trust, our family business. If Gina Reinhardt could do it with her group, I believe Gina Smith can do it with her group. But she only has 5 kids, I think. We've got to share ours with big mob of people, so that's why it's better to buy the big things and then work and make money for the little luxuries we want to have in life. So accounts now, we've got moved with Clarity NT in Coombe Springs. Why we moved that is that we developed a relationship with an accountant, and he left Deloitte's, and so we asked if he could take our company back with him because we didn't want to start it all over again, because it can take a lot of time to educate someone to understand you, and even in positions that you take up with Aboriginal corporations, you 3 months just to learn. So if you've got a 2-year contract or 1-year contract, you got 3 months to pretty much you're using up to understand what you're going to do. So we believe keeping with our accountant, Mr. Keyworth, Kumanjay Keyworth, and of course with our legal and policy advice from Sean Bowden of Bowden McCormick Lawyers and Advisors. And without those guys, we wouldn't be where we are. So Manungurra has been in discussions with the current landowner of Banka West, which is the Indigenous Land Corporation, for a transfer of title, mid to late 2014. If we can, on a 3-year lease agreement following a lengthy consultation and negotiations process in the Warramunga land claim. So Banka Waste also comprises of OM Butu mine, the manganese mine, and upon, like I said, we expect to try and get transfer. I think I mentioned it about 3 times, so I'm making sure that the politicians try and hear it 3 times too. But of course, apart from that, and why we really strongly feel that Banka would assist not only the Gunapa groups, but the Warramunga people of Tennant Creek and Banka regions. So some of the current projects are a horticulture farm on Banka Station West, utilising the mine's infrastructure, and that would create employment, training and long-term sustainability, with initial research already commissioned by Manungurra favouring table grapes, mangoes and melons. The cattle operation, so Banka West being on the Stewart Highway and currently holding cattle with ILC, Manungurra would continue to operate in terms of, but utilising all our family groups' stations. Like, so there's our mother's land is Makati Aboriginal Land Trust, and then we have so along the the Barclay Highway. There's Warramungu land there that we hope to utilise if we can all come together. And run one big cattle corporation instead of small little ones that struggle in many ways because you're trying to do it at small scale. So Banka West currently has a tourist and caravan park. We as Manungurra and Gunapa, we believe that we could actually generate and create more opportunities there to talk about Aboriginal culture and teaching tourists about our people and our systems and how we work and our own governance. So Manungurra will look to include local Indigenous management and, of course, content to the visitor experience. And we've learned heaps from the Gumaj mob, so that's why it's good for networking here as well. It is our first time at Garma, so it's, like I said, an honour to be here. So members' donations, Manungurra has and will continue to assist its members in everyday living expenses, including educational and training, help, ceremony, funeral and vehicle expenses, in addition to its ongoing homelands to our houses, so R&M activities. So we're not trying to take over some of the help that the government provides, but we are putting up some of our income to better use so that it helps us to raise our group from disadvantage and look at ways of helping us. So Manungurra will cover, because we, like the health expenses like PATS, it's a motel costs more to stay in than what you pretty much reimbursed. So we'll assist with trying to get into families to budget as well. It's a big task and a long way, but we know that we have to do it now, otherwise we'll never get there. So employment and wellbeing of members, Manungurra has engaged a projects manager, which is myself, and like I said, I've only been in here for 2 weeks, and work closely with our family members in improving their individual life skills, employment and training outcomes, and to provide that general level of advocacy and support to our members. So let me share with you pretty much an extract that I took from the Warramunga land claim from Commissioner Justice Morris, when he said in the Warramunga land claim report in 1998, the region's economy is a complex and fragile structure. It is getting tongue twisted now. It is obviously of importance that non-Aboriginal people living and working in and around Tennant Creek do not lose confidence in the region. The Warramungu have and at least much interest in maintaining and developing the economic base of Tennant Creek and the environs as anyone else. Therein lies the future for many of the coming generation. Given the proximity of the claim of the area of the town, the importance of parts of it to mining, pastoral industries, and the number and diversity of government interests in the region, it is critical to establishment of satisfactory working relationship that the Land Council with responsibility for the area be capable of responding swiftly and effectively to the demands which will inevitably be placed upon it, and that its members and staff live in the region and have the understanding of its problems and its people, which they can only come from doing so. Remote control from Alice Springs or Darwin by an office or in Tennant Creek is not likely to provide a satisfactory substitute for regional autonomy. So Justice Morris, the Land Commissioner, Warramunga Land Claim, 1988, paragraph 33.1.4. From this, of course, we see that, and it's made quite clear that localised decision-making, particularly in the area of economic development initiative, is critical to the Barclay's future, and we see it as our future. This is then the role that Manungurra seeks to play for its members, being the members of the Kunapa groups and our extended families that expand right across, and like I said, far as up here. So Manungurra, by assuming responsibility for an economic sustainability and development and business initiative, and maintaining the confidence of our Gunaba elders, who exercise traditional authority and who instruct the land councils pursuant to the Aboriginal Land Rights Act, Northern Territory, can provide the direction that is alluded into Justice Morris's words and the minds and hearts of our elders those years ago. And I leave you with that. And I thank you again for the opportunity.